in Banjul, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. A warm welcome to GRTS News at 2200 hours. First, the headlines. His Excellency President Adama Barrow urges collective unity in national development as he receives a religious delegation from the Sheikh Al Mahfouz Ahlul Bayt Foundation at the State House. Breast and cervical cancer newsfile investigates the connection between cancer and the cosmetic product that is said to compress the breast, trapping harmful cancer-causing toxins. I am Fatih Ali Kamuloshi, also coming up on the program. Reviving the draft constitution, Gambian civil society groups reveal their position on the new Bill of Rights, voted down by the National Assembly as government opens the way towards constitutional dialogue. In sports, a new leadership to guide a fresh era, the Gambia Wrestling Federation elects a new executive to lead the development of the second most popular sport in the Gambia. Away from home, border delays spoil the holidays for scores of Zimbabweans traveling home for Christmas from South Africa. Elsewhere, we examine a year of lockdowns, asking how are African countries faring after coming out of difficult restrictions. That's the top of the news and much more coming ahead this hour. Many thanks for joining us. Warm welcome to the news. Now we begin with the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, who has received a delegation of scholars and religious representatives from the Sheikh Mahfouz Ahlul Bayt Foundation at the State House. Visiting the Gambian leader for the third time, the delegation renewed their support for the Gambian leader and prayed for his continued well-being to advance national development. Uminjai picks up the rest of that story.
صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
On Friday, members of the Sheikh Mahfouz Foundation Ahlul Bayt Rasul visited President Adama Barrow at the State House, where religious scholars and representatives prayed for the Gambian leader, the entire nation, and prevalence of peace and tranquility, whilst renewing their support to the President's development agenda, especially in the forthcoming elections.
تؤتي الملك من تشاء تنزع الملك ممن تشاء وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير.
Representing the Imam Ratib of Banjul, Chairman Aliu Maska, Alaji Bai Seka welcomed the delegation to the presidency and acknowledged President Barrow's pleasure in receiving them at the State House. Alaji Bai Seka went on to urge the Ahlul Bayt Rasul group to continue praying for the president, describing him as a development-oriented leader. The spokesperson of the Sheikh Mahfouz Foundation, Sheikh Bun Samsidin Ul Sheikh Mahfouz, expressed sincere gratitude to President Barrow for always welcoming them to his office, commending the Gambian leader's efforts in ensuring that peace prevails in the country. Ul Sheikh Mahfouz reassured the president of their continued support.
إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفرك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم من نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا.
The president's religious advisor, Dembo Bojang, hailed the delegation for constantly backing President Barrow's development agenda, urging them to pray for his well-being and continued strength to advance national development.
Allah continue la douala. They continue la douala. Dua fay jabi dro.
President Barrow expressed appreciation to the Sheikh Mahfouz Foundation for taking time to come and pray for him and the entire nation.
Roki kuma balam pour alsina ka dua nyim bankoy. Andu ayentel fana ayen la fa confiance la.
The voluntary prayers the delegation offers, President Barrow said, is a selfless national undertaking he greatly appreciates.
Salon kanang alkan namenke akan sewondi le fana.
The Gambian leader called for national interest to be put first, saying development should be the business of all.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Uminjai, GRTS.
Now, cervical and breast cancer are still the two most common cancers among women in the Gambia. The plague has claimed the lives of scores of young women in the country, which continues to lag behind in advancing cancer care, screening and treatment. For women, the risks of cancer are found in a number of products, which includes wearing of bras, which are worn by women and girls to prevent their breasts from sagging. This report by Mama J takes a close look at the connection between bras and cancer and the claim that the product contains silicone gel, which is said to cause allergic reactions that lead to breast cancer.
Cancer is becoming a growing concern in the Gambia, and cervical cancer has been in the spotlight in the country in recent years. But why is it so special? A question I put to Dr. Lamin Jaite, a consultant and general surgeon at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital.
This is a cancer that if we put in efforts to detect it on time, we can actually save a lot of women from getting cancer and eventually dying from that particular cancer.
Cancer is said to spread through the body when it loses control of its own. But what are the causes of cancer? Dr. Abdullah Keita is an obstetrician, gynecologist, and lecturer at the University of the Gambia.
There are certain things we call them cofactors or risk factors that predispose some women more to developing cancer of cervix than to the others. And among those risk factors is tobacco in any of its form, including cigarette smoking. People who sneak tobacco, people who take tobacco in any form is a recognized risk factor for a long time for cancer of cervix. The others is if you have other infections in your genital tract, they can predispose you to cancer of cervix like gonorrhea, syphilis. They can all predispose you to cancer of cervix. If your immunity, that is the body's defense, is reduced, like if you have HIV, you have diabetes, they can predispose you to cancer of cervix. If you start sexual activities too early in your life, it can predispose you to cancer of cervix. If you have too many sexual partners, it can predispose you to cancer of cervix.
According to health officials, cervical cancer is the second leading cause of death among women in the Gambia. The disease kills women in their prime or youthful age.
Most patients diagnosed with breast cancer early enough about 9 out of 10 of them would still be alive at 5 years. About 8 out of 10 of them would still be alive at 10 years. So it goes against the thinking that if somebody has cancer, it's a death sentence. No. The most important thing is being able to detect the cancer on time and then making sure you get the right treatment.
Statistics show that 53,000 women in Africa die of cervical cancer every year, an average 154 women per hour. According to WHO 2014 report, cervical cancer death in the Gambia was at 54 or 0.40%. But the good news is that cervical cancer is highly treatable, with a cure rate of over 90% if detected early, according to cancer experts. However, health officials observe that many cancer patients in the Gambia seek medical attention often too late, when the disease must have reached an advanced stage.
Cervical cancer, if detected early, can be managed, and the treatment is simple and easy with very little complications. So every woman who is above the age of 30, who is actively married, can walk to the screening center and get screened. Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, Banjul, SOS, Bafro, Afrimed, Brikama, Yundum, Esau, Basse, all have screening centers.
In 2019, the government of the Gambia rolled out a massive immunization campaign of young girls across the country to protect them from cervical cancer. One organization that is complementing that effort is the Cancer League Association, the Gambia, a group of organizations that is dedicated to raise awareness on cancer. Aji Dafe is the chairperson of the association.
We did a fundraising, and yes, we needed about $15 million. Unfortunately, we were only able to raise 1.2 million. The fundraising event that we did, after all the proceeds were actually accounted for, we raised about 1.2 million from one night. The Minister of Health of the Gambia, we're here to work with you. We're here to support, to complement your efforts.
The organization makes best use of Pink October, a month-long campaign dedicated globally to raise awareness on cancer. Last year, the League had a series of activities in their advocacy programs, with plans to continue this year only to be interrupted by the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic.
We were able to test 427 women, to be precise. And out of those 427 women, did you know that, Mama, 70% of those women were impacted with either minor infections, and some had really, really aggravated infections as well. And if these infections were not treated, it can actually cause cancerous tumors. So,
Aji Dafe highlighted the need to prioritize women's health and called for continuous sensitization on cancer.
You lost your mother and father to cancer, and as a result, you and your twin sister established an organization dedicated to raise awareness and fight against the cancer disease in the Gambia and beyond the source of the country to Senegal. Now, how hard has it been for you to get to this point?
My mom died of cancer over 30 years ago. So the fight continues, and we're still fighting. The ailment of cancer to this day, and we haven't made stride yet. My mother was diagnosed in the Gambia, and she was told that she had gout when she had kidney cancer. So, and those issues we're still having in the Gambia for over 30 years. My father had lung cancer. So cancer takes away your dignity. Cancer takes away everything about who you are. When it strikes at the core of your being.
Amid rumors that the silicone gel found in some bras causes allergic reaction that might lead to cancer, GRTS find out more about the claim. Brassiere or bra is a fitting undergarment used by women to support their breasts and give it a good-looking shape. The device used to hide nipples that poke through clothing is also used by breastfeeding mothers to avoid leaking of the breast milk. However, many believe that bras contain materials that might cause allergic reaction. But can bra wearing really cause breast cancer?
There isn't any evidence to show that bra wearing can actually cause cancer. What bra wearing can do is breast pain, mastalgia, that is, they can cause discomfort and they can cause pain if they're not comfortable. That causes patients to come to us in the hospital for complaints. But there is no connection between bra wearing and breast cancer. The risk factors for breast cancer are well known.
Abdullah Sise, a vendor at the Sarekunda market, have been selling bras since 1987. Although there is no fixed price for a bale of bra which has little or no profit, Abdullah managed to feed his family from the sales gain and pay his children's school fees, he told me.
I have seen bras that contain silicone gel, mostly from China. They sell out very fast and at reasonable prices. Although some of the bra products we have in the country comes from Europe, China and Asia. I get my orders from Europe because of their quality.
Umuso, a customer I met at the Sarekunda market, said she wears bras just to give her breast a nice shape. Bra wearing is not a necessity for women like Maria Makonte who prefer wearing body fit.
I body fit like this.
I don't normally wear a bra because I find it difficult to breathe whenever I wear it, so I prefer wearing body fit.
Maria Conte is comfortable wearing bra, but cautioned that wearing the device the whole day might have some health implications.
For me, why I wear bra, I don't have big breasts, so I really like breasts, so I always find the bra that's having sponge, so I can use it. At least it can make my breast to become bigger. So you know now as a lady, so.
Although women with large breasts usually wear bras for support, our Marina Conte says she is not comfortable wearing the device even though she has a large breast.
Even though it gives my breast a nice shape, I sometimes feel uncomfortable in it, especially when the weather is too hot.
According to this customer, bra wearing is part of a woman's dressing.
If your breast is small, you may not wear. But if you have breast, you need to wear. If you don't wear bra, the thing will fall down short. It will just fall. The cloth, the way I just dressed now without bra, this thing will not fit me nice.
While bras serve as a support to the breast, they do not prevent the breast from sagging because naturally the breast will sag as the woman gets old. Health experts say about 1 million women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year, with thousands others at risk of the disease. It is therefore recommended that women of 40 years and above do regular screening of clinical breast cancer. Mama J, GRTS.
Now, earlier we spoke to medical consultant and cancer specialist, Dr. Lamin Jaite, and began by asking just how critical are cancer risks women and girls face in the Gambia. It's even more serious in the absence of specialist care in the Gambia. In the report, you mentioned that early detection is very much important in curing this same disease. Now, talk to us about how vulnerable Gambian women are compared to other countries that have advanced, of course, facilities that can cure this.
I think it's a very important question. Like it was mentioned in the report, that breast cancer is a highly treatable cancer if it's detected on time. And you mentioned the point that we do not have as advanced medical systems like in other countries. So detecting the cancer at an early stage puts us at an advantage in the sense that once you detect it early enough, the treatment is a lot easier. It might just involve maybe surgically removing the lump at a small size, rather than having a breast cancer that goes into an advanced stage wherein you would need probably more than just surgery and chemotherapy and have to have things like radiotherapy, which unfortunately we still do not have in this country.
Now, bras and breast cancer, tell us the connection here. Are bras really that bad for women's health?
I think what's important is bras have to be the right size and they have to fit well. There's a lot of rumors going around, especially in the country and elsewhere, that wearing bras, especially the ones that have silicone, might actually have an impact, just like we saw in the report. But scientific evidence, there actually is no proof to date that says that bra wearing of any kind can actually cause breast cancer. There are things that are known to cause breast cancer, and those are what we call risk factors. Risk factors such as the gender, meaning that breast cancer, we know it's a lot more common in women than in men. The age of the individual, the older you grow, the more likely or the risk of having breast cancer is. Having somebody in your family, for example, who has breast cancer, maybe an aunt or a sister or a mother, can actually increase your chances of having breast cancer. So these are things that are actually known, but bra wearing is not one of those risks.
Lamin Jaite there. Now, civic society organizations in the Gambia have summoned a press briefing outlining their stand on the draft constitution rejected by National Assembly members 3 months ago. The new proposed Bill of Rights, which failed to draw a majority vote, died a quick death as legislators voted to suffocate it before it reaches a public referendum. The outcome evoked mixed reactions and a public debate that continues as people speculate about its future of a document produced from 2 years of activities and broad nationwide consultations. Leading the Civic Society Conference on the future of the rejected draft, the chairman of the Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, the Gambia, John Charles Njai, explained the organization's stance on the bill and ongoing negotiations involving various groups to revive its journey. Take a listen.
Organizations welcome the government of the Gambia's decision to revive the final draft constitution through a national consensus building process, 3 months after it failed to pass in the National Assembly. The draft constitution came on the heels of sustained desire of the Gambians for a new constitution. Therefore, when the autocratic regime of the former president was ousted on the 2nd of December 2016, Gambians yearned for a new political chapter, which is founded on democracy, rule of law, good governance, and Republican values. Generally, Gambians have recognized that the Constitution of the Gambia 1997 is in many ways deficient in providing a democratic and progressive dispensation, mainly because of the numerous undemocratic and self-serving amendments it was subjected to under the former regime. Following the democratic transition of power from the former government to a coalition government, Gambians legitimately desired and anticipated a new constitution that would, among other things, overhaul the 1997 constitution and an array of bad laws used as tools to perpetuate autocracy and dictatorship. Both the coalition 2016, led by President Adama Barrow, that defeated ex-President Jammeh, and a national consensus had agreed to implement a constitutional reform process that should lead to a third republic. As critical stakeholders in the process, we are yet to be availed the opportunity to meaningfully partake in the political dialogue initiated by the government of the Gambia. The inclusion and participation of civil society as a non-partisan entity is urgent, legitimate, and critical to the building of meaningful political consensus. It protects the legitimacy and integrity of the process and upholds the best interests of the citizenry. The Gambia civil society strongly urges President Adama Barrow, International ADIE, and the Chief Mediator Goodluck Jonathan to ensure transparency, participation, inclusion, and national consensus.
Now, Majalis Khudamul Ahmadiyya, the Gambia, the male youth wing of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, has held its 36th annual conference at the Mazrur Senior Secondary School in Yundum. The annual 3-day gathering seeks to share ideas and foster unity, love and care for mankind, anchored on a sense of patriotism. Ibrahim Ajalo covered the event opening on Friday and files in this report.
Be a unifying endeavor, seeking to share positive mindsets anchored on the values of Ahmadiyya Muslim faith. It also serves as a platform to manifest successes and map out way forward of the youths and society in general. Yahya Sise, one of the young Ahmadis, spoke of the role and importance of youth to society and nation, especially during the pandemic, citing the teachings of Islam to this effect.
Youth represent the active and the physical forces, the endurance, the ability to youth are the backbone of any nation. To this, it is clear that youth play an important role in both the present and the future society. They work uneasily for the growth of our society and country to enable it to function in the best manner possible. Islam teaches that Muslim youth should remain genuine and dedicated to this cause during good and bad times.
Bakari Baji, Minister of Youth and Sport, acknowledges the relevance of the meeting in view of the service of youth to communities and the nation. This, he said, the Ahmadiyya as a faith has been actively engaged in.
Young people have served as volunteers in communities where people have died of the virus or the pandemic, in moving them out of their homes and out of the hospitals. In order for young people to continue to play an active and coordinated role in emergencies, there must be a national program that promotes a sense of security, peace, a sense of self and group effectiveness, solidarity, and hope.
This year's gathering features prominently the impact of COVID-19 and the need for collective action against it. The program was also punctuated with awards of certificates to secondary and tertiary school graduates, bankrolled by the Jamaat. The Amir of the Ahmadiyya in the Gambia, Baba F. Trawale, graced the event. Ibrahima Diallo, GRTS News.
Now let's stay with religious matters because a local-based Islamic association called Great Muslims for Education and Modesty, GAMFEM, has been officially launched on Friday. The occasion brought together Islamic scholars, religious leaders, and a cross-section of society from the Greater Banjul area. As Khadija Juara tells us, the initiative seeks to especially promote Islamic teachings and the welfare of women and girls.
The program brought together Islamic scholars, executive members of GAMFEM, and a cross-section of the society. Speaking to GRTS, the president of GAMFEM, Ustaz Mariama Jallo, said her association aims to promote Islam and the welfare of Gambians, particularly women and girls. GAMFEM aims to promote the welfare of Gambian women and girls. We will continue doing our best to promote their welfare. Executive members of GAMFEM, Jainaba Fati and Sainabu Sise, both highlighted their association's commitment in promoting the livelihood of Gambians.
It's a new foundation that has been set up to assist women that are facing financial difficulties in purchasing modest clothing. We wouldn't only stop at that, we will also help women with marriage counseling, because we see that we need that in our generation right now. Marriage counseling, dawah sessions. We wouldn't also stop at the urban areas, but we'll also go to the rural areas. We'll help madrasas with Quran to help them in their studies.
The importance of today's launching is to create that avenue by sensitizing, letting know of the general public about the existence of GAMFEM. Because we are barely 3 months old as a newly registered association, Islamic association, female association rather. So, and we want to make it known to the general populace. Our aims and objectives and what are the activities that, our future activities that we intend to embark on as an association.
Presiding over the launch of the organization, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Rohibite Dabo, commended GAMFEM for the idea in promoting the welfare of women and girls.
This association is very important, Great Ambitious Muslims for Education and Modesty. The purpose of forming the association, according to their constitution, is to empower Muslim women and girls. Now, when I say empowerment, education is part of it, because you have to know your religion, which is very important, because religion is our guidance to our living. So it's important to know your religion and what is expected of you as a woman and a girl. And if you look at Islam, Islam means peace. So anything that the religion is telling us to do is exactly what we should do to be living in a peaceful environment.
Prominent religious figure Kebu Cham noted the critical role of women in promoting good modesty while paying tribute to the women group for the initiative. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Khadija Tujuara.
And to sports now, and a close look at 2020, which has thrown up odd challenges for sports around the world, with games played without fans and many other activities cancelled due to the global pandemic. But despite this, the Gambia Under-20 managed a feat rarely achieved by a Gambian team, winning a trophy on the Senegalese soil. Coach Matar Mbouje's Chargers won the CAF WAFU Zone, a championship after beating Senegal 4-3 on penalty shootout. Now the team's exploits have generated considerable goodwill from Gambians, and one group called Brothers Union, whose membership includes some of the country's top entrepreneurs, is set to stage a New Year's Eve banquet and fundraising dinner for the team.
About the Brothers Union and some of the activities that the group has undertaken since inception.
Okay, well, thank you. As I said, the Brothers Union is a group of friends, basically, or football lovers, I should say, and turning to friends. We've all played football in the past, and we're all obviously very busy men now. In our group, we have over 50, 60 men, all of our entrepreneurs, bankers, you name it, lawyers, and all that. So at one point, we thought, okay, let's just bring this into a union sort of to give back. How do we do that? And then that's how the Brothers Union was born, to cut it short. And then early or later this year, we just decided, okay, should we not do a banquet? And then in doing so, we thought, okay, the Gambia Under-20 has actually won a trophy. To start with, because we play football, how about we give them the platform to promote and celebrate the excitement that we've all seen, basically, the trophy.
All right. Now, to get the group's activities up and running, you need funds, of course. How have you been, mobilizing funds?
Among ourselves, basically, what we do is, as members, we contribute. We contribute monthly, a sum. We've, as I said, managed to save quite a bit now, thank God. And in doing so, as I said, we're doing it to give back, purely. As I always said, if you look at our slogan in the long, you'll see that it says a clock. It says time is up for Gambians to unite and do something for each other, basically to give back. And it is also part of national development.
All right.
You know.
So now you intend to raise funds for the Under-20, which we saw won gold in Senegal, and will be playing in the Africa Under-20 Championship. Talk to us about this upcoming banquet.
It will be exciting. We're hoping that everyone turns out. We're cardinally inviting the president of the country and his cabinet. We're also inviting all the opposition members to come in. As a unit, it is the Gambia. The Gambia Under-20 belongs to the Gambia, and we hope everyone comes in and enjoy the evening. It will be held at the Bamboo Village Hotel, as I said, December 31st. Everyone is invited.
All right. Talk to us about
Now, staying with sports, the Wrestling Federation has elected a new executive to lead the development of the second most popular sport in the Gambia. Finally meeting after a contentious period of disagreement, the Federation finally convened to elect a new leadership on Saturday. Sering Fai Cham won the top seat as president with 70 votes, beating rival contender Matar Sen, who only managed 39 votes in a poll that produced 4 invalid votes. The association's new treasurer is Ndongo Job, who amassed 71 votes to beat off all the competitors. GRTS spoke to the day's big loser and winner after the conclusion of what is the most crucial elections in the Wrestling Federation's history. Now, from sports, we take a quick look at some headlines making news around the world, starting off in Zimbabwe, where at least 15 people have reportedly died in recent weeks waiting in long queues to cross the border from South Africa into Zimbabwe. Coronavirus screening is being blamed for the extended time it's taking for migrant workers to get clearance to return home for the seasonal holidays. Lines of cars and trucks can be seen stretching for many kilometers on the narrow road leading to the main Bridgeport, which serves as the main crossing point between the two countries. Reports suggest that ill health owing to the lack of facilities at the bridge contributed to the numbers of fatalities. The South African government is yet to respond. The South African nation hosts an estimated 1.5 million Zimbabwean migrants. It's experiencing a second wave of COVID-19 infections, with surging cases authorities suspect is being triggered by the genetic mutation of the disease. Now, the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention says it is investigating what appears to be another variant of the coronavirus in Nigeria that was found in 2 patient samples collected in August and October in Nigeria's southwestern state of Osun. However, health authorities in the West African nation say there is no cause for alarm as tests to establish if indeed it is a new variant continue. CGTN's Deji Badmus reports from Nigeria, Lagos.
We are not sounding the alarm bell yet on what the Africa CDC says might be a possible discovery of another variant of the coronavirus in the country. Here's how the head of the Nigeria CDC explained how the discovery was made and what's been done about it.
When this new strain was reported in the UK, what we did was work with Redeemers University, and they then looked through the historical archive of viruses that had already been sequenced. And through that retrospective analysis, found 2 viruses that were similar to the one in the UK, but not the same. So had a few similarities, but enough for us to say that this did not originate from the same population of viruses. So what we're now going to do with Redeemers University is collect a selection of other viruses circulating in Nigeria now, so from the more recent cases, and try and compare what we have now to what we had previously in Nigeria, but also what is circulating abroad. So this is ongoing work that we'll be carrying out over the next few weeks to see whether we can explain some of the changes, some of the increased transmission that is happening in Nigeria, and to look at whether it is related to the virus or related, which is most likely to be the case, into behavior among individuals across the country.
Experts say the possibility that another variant of the virus might be in Nigeria is a serious cause for concern.
We should be worried, even though to a large extent the pathogenesis of these variants has not really been completely established, but to a large extent there is sufficient scientific information to actually tell us that the new variant actually enhances rapid transmission, and that is why we should be worried, and that is why we should quickly look for a way to stem this tide, to stop it.
Nigeria has seen a spike in COVID-19 infections recently, forcing the government to reopen isolation centers and reinstate some restrictions. It has also announced new travel rules for passengers flying into the country from the United Kingdom and South Africa, which have both confirmed new variants of the coronavirus.
All passengers coming into the country from the UK and South Africa on direct flights must use the Nigeria International Travel Portal to register, fill in their health questionnaire. They must upload a negative COVID-19 PCR result with a validity of not more than 5 days, and they must pay for a COVID PCR.
Live from Banjul, this is GRTS News. A quick look at our top stories before we go. His Excellency President Adama Barrow has urged collective unity in national development as he receives a religious delegation from the Sheikh Al-Mahfouz Ahlul Bayt Foundation at the State House. Breast and cervical cancer, GRTS, has been investigating the connection between cancer and the cosmetic product that compresses the breast, trapping harmful cancer-causing toxins. Reviving the draft constitution, Gambian civil society groups have revealed their position on the new Bill of Rights, voted down by the National Assembly as government opens the way towards constitutional dialogue. In sports, a new leadership to guide a fresh era, the Gambia Wrestling Federation has elected a new executive to lead the development of the second most popular sport in the Gambia. Away from home, border delays have spoiled the holidays for scores of Zimbabweans traveling home for Christmas from South Africa. Elsewhere, we examined a year of lockdowns, asking how African countries fared after coming out of difficult restrictions. Well, that was all in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company from myself and the entire news team. Have a good evening.